Last time on Xenonauts Abridged we got through a regular mission thanks to a load of sniping, making life easier. Then we took on a terror mission where a new level of enemy strength was shown. We did get into a bit of trouble, but we somehow got through it without any losses in the end. Now we're moving on to another regular mission, Charlie 1 set down somewhere in Africa to take on a crashed UFO. As I deployed outside of the helicopter, we took some sudden fire from a drone that we couldn't see onto Big Iron, and an Andron appears over there as well. Now things get worse because not only has Big Iron lost half his health due to that attack, but he loses all of his morale in a surprise twist and he decides to run away. But he runs away towards the enemy and that doesn't help. So now he's standing in the open with low health, ready to get shot, and we can't afford to lose Big Iron, so it's time to do everything we can to save him. Ray and Prey fires at the Andron, but it's a terrible volley, only one bullet hit, and the Andron just resisted the attack, so that actually achieved nothing at all. Now I'm going to send Betty to find this drone. It's just inside the little building, and we're able to get pretty close and still have the time units to shoot. As long as this shot gets the kill, we'll be fine, and it does, so that's a good twist. The Andron misses Betty with the reaction fire. Betty is now in danger herself there because the Andron could go into the room and get a shot without cover onto her. So ideally we need to kill the Andron right now, also to save Big Iron. I smoked up Big Iron. I'm not sure if this actually does anything against Androns. I have this feeling that maybe they have heat vision or something because they're robots, but I might just be making that up. Now Verfinal gets a pretty good hit shooting around the corner at decent range. Then I moved him out the way because I realised Boom Headshot can also just about shoot around the corner, and he does take out the Andron. So now we can all breathe again. Emergency over, a nice panicked way to start the mission. We learn of our next target when a civilian shoots into the fog of war, from the fog of war as well. We just saw some bullets flying around, and it revealed there was something over here, and indeed there's an Andron just standing there. Things looked pretty clear, so I thought we'll just go for the old run and gun with Betty Buckshot, and that works out just fine. Now after that I started repositioning the squad to the left hand side of the map because there's more cover to advance with over there. And while I was setting up, an Andron came over to take a look at us at point blank range as well, so that's all nice. We can use the doors and windows on this wall to get shots onto it right away. Boom Headshot starts, but does really no damage at all, then shoots again and does a whole load of damage, killing the enemy in one hit. The damage spread is just so absolutely massive that on top of the RNG based accuracy, it's really annoying. You just never know what your shots are going to do. Now, Verfinal moves up to a window there as I was moving up through this courtyard, and something shot at me, but I didn't see what it was, or even see the shot, so I thought maybe there's something by the door to the UFO. Then, whatever it is, presumably suddenly kills Verfinal, and we still haven't seen where or what it is. This isn't very useful. So I figured there was something beyond the door to that room just outside the entrance to the UFO, but there's actually a guy, an Andron, right there in the window that Verfinal couldn't see. So we've been stung in this case by something I noted earlier, that your weapons can see around corners but your eyes can't. You don't get line of sight around the edge of things that you can shoot around. So we were screwed basically. I didn't expect him to be there of all places, but actually within the rules that spot was completely unseeable to Verfinal even right next to it. That's annoying. Anyway, we just continue moving up towards the door to the UFO. Once I'm there, we're going to do the old trick of opening the door to see if anything's in there, and there is, and then take a long shot down the corridor to get some damage. Ray and Prey does the business, using the door that she's hiding behind to reveal herself suddenly to the enemy and then just destroy them. Now, need to do some scouting into the UFO because nothing showed up. Didn't see anything after that first little run, but after I ran back out, something came over to the entrance. Fortunately, Big Iron on the left of the door just shot this guy down, so a good bit of luck on the reaction fire. I suppose it all worked as planned. Now, just need to go in again and keep looking since the mission hasn't ended, and we discover an Andron in the door on the left there. I thought Big Iron could probably just carry on and take that one out as well because it's pretty close to us, and I was right in that regard, although it did take 2 shots. After that, I started just sending the whole squad into the UFO because Big Iron's stuck in there now, might as well fully commit to this. We ended up discovering another Andron in this room on the left, but he buckshot does the usual to take it out, and that's the end to the mission. Pretty smooth stuff, apart from Verfenau being suddenly killed at point blank range. That sucks because Verfenau had actually become pretty good and pretty experienced. Right after that mission we've got another one because Charlie 2 was also on their way to a downed UFO, so we'll take a look at that now. It was another case where things started off with aliens right outside the dropship. I'm going to move G-Mobile up to the corner of the dropship and take a shot at this civilian, and we get really good luck there, loads of hits from that volley, bringing the enemy down, so that's a good omen and a good start. The UFO was very close to where we landed, so I split the squad up, sending 6 members to the west to look for enemies, whilst 2 watched over the route to the UFO just in case something attacked us. And something did, as we see a Reaper came over and crouched down next to us after taking a bit of damage from No Brain, and No Brain can just finish things off here since the enemy's at point blank range, so that went okay. Our squad going over to the west found an enemy hiding in these trees, but in this case our new squad member looks like Verfenau, whose only remarkable feature is that he looks like Verfenau from Charlie 1, takes the enemy down with a stun stick. Now I moved through that gap in the trees and found some more enemies up here. There's a Reaper standing next to the UFO, and it looks like it spawned on a spot from where it can't move anywhere, so some bad spawning scripts going on there or something. So it was trapped and we just gunned it down. Now I was aware that there was an alien to our left somewhere as well because I'd seen it already, and there it is crouching by the tree, so I sat around waiting for it to come out of cover, while a couple of squad members went to go and keep watch on the alien door again, just in case something happened over there. A couple of enemies appeared in the door and No Brain was able to kill one of them using reaction fire, so that was very good work from her. She's had a good mission. We also spot a new enemy to our north who walks around the edge of those trees and gets immediately killed by G-Mobile. Good reaction fire. We're having a good mission for reaction fire actually triggering and even hitting things. Now friend fire can shoot at the second alien that came out of the UFO that was just standing in the door. We managed not to kill it somehow, at least we didn't get hit by its reaction fire. Now someone else just needs to move out and outflank it, and we can use Deadman Welkin here since he can get up to close range and use the laser carbine. Somehow he does a load of damage and still doesn't kill the enemy, so I had to shoot him twice and finally it goes down. That guy had like absolutely loads of HP, hundreds I guess. Anyway, now I kept waiting for ages for this alien on the left side of the map to appear, but he just wasn't showing up. The rest of the crew was waiting to go into the UFO, but I didn't want to go in without the guys I'd left over here. So eventually I thought, let's just walk over here with looks like Verfenau to try and find him again. I thought we need to somehow kite the enemy out. He's not aggroed onto us, he's just sort of skulking about in the corner of the map. I moved closer, but I couldn't see the enemy in question. Then he appeared from around the corner and did this, threw a grenade at looks like Verfenau, so his shield presumably doesn't count in that case, so that was actually much more dangerous than I first thought. Some reaction fire doesn't bring the enemy down, but now we did get what we wanted in that the enemy is just standing in the open and we can shoot at him. But we've sacrificed looks like Verfenau for it, and that's not all that good. Maybe if I just waited for ages longer he would have eventually come around the corner on his own, but maybe it's not too bad since looks like Verfenau had only just been hired. When we buy a replacement it'll be essentially the same stats, maybe even higher if we're lucky, so it's not an enormous loss. Anyway, while waiting to go into the UFO, another alien appeared over there where G-Mobile killed one earlier. I start setting up to attack it. G-Mobile doesn't have the ammo to make an attack right now. No Brain, gets a hit with her one gun. And then I thought, let's just go into the UFO. No one else could shoot for now, so I thought we'll see if anyone's in there to get shot at. And indeed, friend fire finds a target. There's a civilian crouching in the corner. Didn't quite have line of sight, and we got no damage with our attack, but we did suppress it. So now it's safe to go in with our shotgunners and take a couple of point-blank range shots. Deadman Welkin gets a shot, but it doesn't do very much damage. I'm going to run away now rather than shoot again, just in case there's another alien who's going to burst out the doors. We want to end the turn outside of the UFO. And I can just about shoot with Mr. Get and have enough points left to leave. We do indeed get the kill, so that's good news, and he makes it back to his cover. Then I realise we can actually still shoot at that alien over there on the left, If we take this really dodgy shot with McScope, he can shoot over a load of guys' shoulders and perhaps hit the enemy, and he actually does get the hit, and that brings the mission to an end. Overall, things went very well, except for looks like Ver for now, and maybe he would be alive if I just waited longer to see if the enemy showed up. Anyway, we're back to the strategy map, and we're actually going to not spend long here. Nothing significant happened before the next battle started. We encountered a landing ship over Africa, and it's weird, the auto-resolve chance gives you a very low probability of winning these fights, but if you just do it yourself, just shooting the enemy instantly brings them down, and there's really not much risk at all, so the auto-resolve seems a bit unfair there. Anyway, so here's our next mission with Charlie 1. As we got out of the chopper, there's an alien somewhere off to our left, hiding behind a well. I thought I'll just set up ready to engage this guy next turn, but actually, as it happens, Boom Headshot can shoot over the well and hit him, and gets a one-shot kill. That's another good start to a mission. Another alien appeared to the north. It's just crouched on the corner there after seeing us. Cal tried to take it down, but did a pretty bad job. After trying to work out what I could do here, including considering sending the intern in to go do some stick work, I realised that Boom Headshot can just pick up a second kill right now without even getting out of the helicopter. Eventually we did have to move. I'm going to do something similar to the previous mission, where I'm going to leave two people behind to watch to the left, because I was quite sure there was an alien there from movements I'd seen earlier, and eventually it appears through a door. Useless tries to shoot, but doesn't achieve anything. And the rest of the squad will be going off to the other side of the map to look for more enemies. As for engaging this guy, we can rely on Boom Headshot again, because he's got enough time units to reposition and then fire, so he can get himself the line of sight at nice long range, hopefully far away enough that the enemy won't be able to fire back successfully. And we do manage to land a hit, but no one-hit kill this time. Now, since it's a civilian, and they regenerate health at the end of each turn, it's better to try and kill it now rather than wait for it to get closer or something, because that will make our job possibly a bit harder. So I thought, let's fire with Useless. I spent a long time trying to work out how to fire, because sometimes taking multiple unaimed shots actually gives you a higher probability of hitting something than one aimed shot, so you have to kind of look over the numbers to make sure you're min-maxing. In this case, two partially aimed shots both hit and kill the enemy, so that's Useless, perhaps redeeming herself. It's probably one of the only times I've asked our squad members to actually fire assault rifles because they're so bad, and it actually got a kill, so well done. Now, ages later, after clearing the whole map, we came to the UFO and finally discovered a target sitting just outside the door. Headshot took a shot and got some damage onto the enemy, but took reaction fire. I guess I was asking for it there. I'm going to hide him back in this building and continue stacking up in and around this area. Now, Barrel Scrape goes over to peek around this corner. I was thinking maybe I'll go in and whack the enemy, and if that fails, I'll have Betty Buckshot ready to go in and do some point-blank range attacks as a backup plan. But we actually find there are two enemies crouching just on that corner, and immediately I'm starting to pull out the stun grenades and thinking, can we get them both with one grenade? Eventually, Betty goes for a throw. We've got a throw that won't get Barrel Scrape into the area of effect, but she doesn't throw it at quite the right place, and actually does hit Barrel Scrape. I could, by the way, have easily moved him away, I just didn't for no reason. It actually said that he resisted the gas, but he also fell unconscious anyway, so I don't really know what happened there. Pretty annoying. So we're just going to leave the enemy to it now and hope that they frolic about in the gas for a bit and get themselves stunned. In their turn, we actually see them running away from the gas. That's mean of them. Maybe they don't want to get stunned. And they also regenerate a whole load of health as well. I can't remember if it's in this mission, but it was around this point in the game that I realised the civilians actually can regenerate all of their health. I thought it was only half of the damage taken, but they can regenerate all of it. Maybe it was an upgrade they received passively. Anyway, while sitting around doing nothing, something exploded and damaged, I think it was Ian the intern and Big Iron there. There's an alien in the door that we couldn't see that was throwing a grenade out basically, and it went over the rocks we were hiding behind and landed right on the spot, so that was some bad luck. Pretty nasty. It just invokes a delay as we now sit around healing up, but eventually we're ready to go and attack the alien UFO. The aliens had all fallen back inside, I thought, but actually there's one lying unconscious just outside the door, so one of them must have eventually gone back to the gas. Now, speaking of unconsciousness, here I'm trying to use a tip that someone gave me, that you can use med packs to unstun your stunned party members, but in this case it just didn't seem to work. At least I can't work out how to do it. There seemed to be no way on the UI to use my medpack on the stunned party member, so we can't get Barrel Scrape back up to help us out in the rest of the fight. That's annoying. Now, while shuffling around, I spot one of the aliens is still quite near to the door, and Hilary Highcal is able to get a decent volley in to take it out. Once that was done, I started moving to go into the UFO. We didn't see any enemies, but while I was sitting around, an enemy appeared from the teleport. Some reaction fire goes out, and we're able to kill it in this case, and not get hit by its own reaction fire. But this confirmed to me that the aliens can use the teleports. I had suspected the AI didn't know how to use them from previous displays it had put up, but maybe they actually can come through them all of a sudden, so my caution about advancing on a teleport was advised. Now we send Ian the intern through the teleport to take a look on the other side. There's a civilian here, he just beats it down or eventually manages to stun it, otherwise the room is clear. And there's a similar room on the other side of the UFO that the other teleport leads to, which was also clear. I opened the door to see what was in the corridor then, and there is a civilian on the corner up there that Betty can see. Could just charge in and shoot it in the face, but I was feeling a bit cautious. I'm really just information gathering, so I take a peek, see the bridge of the ship presumably, and then just walk away. I am going to throw a stun grenade out though. Useless gets a really good throw, right on the money, putting that alien in the midst of the stun gas. Just what we like to see. Useless is having the mission of her life. Now the alien decides to meanly run out of the stun gas and doesn't get stunned by it again, and we see another alien running away as well. I don't really know what happened to the whole civilians just charge you thing, but they seem to have developed an affinity for bothering to take cover like some of the other aliens, which is a shame. Maybe they developed that ability alongside their ability to regenerate fully. Maybe this is a new type of enemy technically or something. Anyway, what I wanted to do was fire Big Iron's rocket launcher at the other end of the ship. We can see with Ian the intern, who's just barely visible in the smoke somewhere, that both the aliens are sitting next to each other, so I was looking for a shot with the rocket launcher to take out both. Couldn't quite get it, so I'm just going to hide here. Ian and Big Iron are both in decent cover, so we're going to hope we don't get shot, effectively. There's a relatively low probability of the enemy hitting us. However, getting shot isn't the problem. It's the grenades again. They start throwing grenades down the corridor. One hits Ian, destroying his cover and doing a bit of damage. Another grenade also hits him dead on, and that time it does absolutely loads of damage and he is annihilated. So that's the end of him. His first day didn't go very well, but I guess that's what interns are for. After that, I now do have something of a shot with our rocket launcher. I can fire at the corner where I know the alien is hiding and get damage with the area of effect. It wasn't enough to get the kill in this case, so I also charged up with Betty Buckshot to take a shot as well, and that was enough to finish the enemy off. Don't want to just really barrel in because we know there's another one around that corner somewhere, although presumably they can't throw grenades at us anymore, so the level of safety should have increased. It actually shoots at Betty, gets a hit, her cover didn't help her out, and it did loads of damage even with her armor. The damage spread continues to be wild. Luckily, as I've said before, she has really high health, so she's able to sustain ridiculously damaging hits like that. Big Iron runs forward through the stun gas actually, doesn't get stunned luckily, and takes a shot at the alien. We do loads of damage, but not enough to kill it apparently. That means bleeding Betty here is going to have to scramble forwards through the debris and take a shot herself. Luckily, we get the kill, so she's not going to bleed out. That's the end of the mission. Ian the intern is gone. Every time I bring a new shield bearer onto a team, they seem to just die. But if that's protecting other squad members from death, then that's okay. Otherwise, lots of wounds, lots of stat ups, an okay mission overall. Afterwards, we finally make some progress in the game, researching directional thruster array. You might have noted this game is progressing very slowly, and I'm noting it as well. I'm like, is this game ever going to end at this point? We don't seem to have made any progress, and attacking the downed UFOs doesn't appear to have any function. I might just start airstriking them a little bit more. Anyway, we've unlocked another research called Shrike Dropship or something like that. It gives us something to replace our helicopters that's apparently faster and allows us to take more crew members into battle, so that should be essential, and I get onto that right away. We also finish an autopsy of a Harridan. This is an enemy we haven't actually fought, but we got some corpses of them from that last fight. You might have spotted them lying around in the UFO. It's kind of like an upgraded version of the blue shirt guys from the beginning of the game. It says they're something like engineers. I believe they're going to function as snipers. Maybe they can teleport or jetpack around or something, not quite sure. We've also finally got to the point where our rollout of the laser weaponry, researched so many parts ago, is almost finished. We've almost got all of Charlie 1 and 2 using lasers. Charlie 3 is still using the starting equipment, but I don't plan to actually equip them because of money, which I'll talk about more in a second. We finish another research, Quantum Cryptology Center. This is the thing that allows us to determine what's on UFOs as they fly past, if we first build a thing that allows us to detect alien signals. So we will get on that. Also going to get researching on the Wolf Battle Armor, something to upgrade our Jackal Armor, since that's probably going to be essential moving forwards, especially seeing the sorts of damage we've been taking recently. Anyway, so I'll go right ahead and build this Cryptology Center. Can we afford it? Not really. We can just about afford to build it. We can't afford to run it, because we're also building all these other things at the same time. Our finances are really spiraling out of control now. The world just won't pay up, even for our like 50-man operation. They really don't want us to save the world, so it's coming to this. I'm going to start actually downsizing the operation. I'm going to be firing scientists from Rodeo, our third base, where there were only a few anyway, so our research speed will be hampered by that. But if we run out of money, presumably something bad happens, so I'm going to just tolerate that and take things a little bit more slow as a result. It's a shame that it's come to this, but here we are. We finished researching Wolf Battle Armor without any more aliens showing up, so that was nice. And it explains here it's just better than Jackal Armor, which is what we were looking for, but it also explains that it's very expensive and takes ages to build, and indeed they are right about that. And with money being a little bit tight at the moment, that's going to be a problem. So we've researched this thing, but we can't really use it, but I really think we do need to use it. So as a result, downsizing is going to be upsize, in that we're going to start getting rid of everything. The engineering department at Hammersickle is just going to be abolished. I was building things at Hammersickle and Concrete, but we're going to stick to just Concrete to save costs. Now we don't have to have a lab, and we can get rid of all the engineers and stuff, so that will give us some extra monthly income. Maybe next month we'll have enough to buy some armor. Also going to get rid of the lab at Rodeo. We're just going to completely stop research at Rodeo again to save money. Really sucks, but the stuff we need is so expensive that we have to do this, otherwise we don't have any income and we'll just never be able to buy it and the game will inevitably be lost. So we're forced to do this. It's pretty bad that this secret alien defending organization is literally selling used mattresses on eBay to raise funds for itself, but the world just doesn't care that much. This is how it's going now, and we'll find out in the next part. We actually need quite a lot more money because the aliens are bringing down better ships at this point in the game, and we need better planes to counter it, and that's extremely expensive. So I'm going to be doing some even more serious cost cutting next time.